You know, I've never been to the real Metaphor Cafe. I heard the food's not so hot. This teacher said to me, just tell me that the part about the teacher is true. Because if you made up the whole story, I'm going to be brokenhearted. And so I'll tell you that the part about the teacher is true, and I'll prove it to you now, because it's time to go to the Metaphor Cafe and meet Mr. Biscotti live. Here we are. Am I loud and clear, or am I breaking up? I mean, am I just your charm, or am I just bad luck in your life? Are we getting closer, or are we just getting more lost? I mean, 17-year-old kids, they got problems. They got scars, and they can tell you which one's is worse. And what I say to them as a teacher is, let's unwrite those pages and replace them with our own new lives. Because we sit on front porches, we swing life away, and time just goes by when we make minimum wage. And if love is an answer, I will slave to the end. Each teacher puts out her hand, and those kids come across. Now, we've been here a long time, some of us. And for kids, the summer is over way too soon. And they find themselves back in classrooms, and it's just overwhelming for them. It's overwhelming for teachers. And those kids have friends they hardly know. And they've had good times. And Maddie, and Mickey, and Rhea, and Pari, these 4 kids will meet at the Metaphor Cafe, and each time they meet, they'll swing on front porches and they'll tell you about their teacher. They'll tell you about their dates. They'll tell you about their job. They'll tell you about their classrooms. They pour out their hearts. Now, I was told that high school kids, you know, they aren't going to read books like this. It has to have the F word in it all the time. There has to be vampires and all that stuff. And I have to tell you, and I told agents, that ain't true. You're underestimating kids. Way underestimating them. You have to get them to reach to the top. So I'll show you my scars if you show me yours first.
Let's compare scars.
We can compare them. I tell you. We all got problems. But let's unwrite them and figure out what our dreams and hopes really are. Because we swing on front porches, we take life away, we get by, as we know as teachers, on minimum wage. If love is an answer, then I'll stay to the end. And I won't cross this street until those kids hold my hand. Now notice, hold my hand, hold my hand, hold my hand. Chapter 1 of the book. They hold my hand. I know, you're thinking to yourself, is he for real? And I am for real. Now, I wanted to read you just a little bit of the book. Because, you know, when you read the book, it's hard. It's hard sometimes to, especially if you're older, to understand what 17-year-olds are like. When we went to school, divorce, I don't even know how to spell the word, maybe 20% of the families were divorced. When I finished teaching in 2010, 55% of the families came from divorced families. And it was a huge change. And this first story is the very beginning of the book, where Maddie tells you about her father. And it goes something like this. Today I am thankful because my dad is home from Iraq for good. And my 3 best friends agreed with my crazy idea to write this book. Not a bad 17th birthday, huh? Okay, here's the deal. 3 months ago I was kind of depressed. My school counselor kept telling me not to worry about getting into college. And I wanted to say to her, so what if I have good grades? So do a bazillion other juniors. And besides that, like, I'll probably bomb the math part of the SAT test. And if I don't do that, it doesn't matter anyway, because my parents aren't going to be able to afford to send me to college, because I've got 2 younger brothers and a mom who's working at preschool and a dad who was dodging bullets in Iraq. And besides that, on top of all of that, I don't have any idea what to do with my life. Buck up, Maddie. That's what my father would say. And my mom, she just sort of looks at me and says, don't worry, honey. We'll do anything we can to get you to college. So, I do what every Navy brat does. I handle the situation. Which means I go to school, I deal with the drama, I hope that I can hang on to my friends, I try to make a few new ones, and maybe, just maybe, I meet a boy who is genuine and listens. That's kind of why I like Maddie. I like Mickey, but that's another story. Anyway, I remember last August, I was having the night before school starts dreams, you know? The what will I wear dreams, the fear of what will my hair look like, the will I measure up to all those perfect girls with their perfect tans and their perfect teeth? And I was totally moody, and my mom didn't understand why I was so moody. And she said I was being ridiculous. Ridiculous. Well, that's the way the high school world is sometimes. And then there's my dad. I remember the night that my mom told me for sure, that he was retiring from the Navy. That he was coming back from Iraq where he had been for 9 months. 9 months. 9 months is like my entire sophomore year. Yeah. And he would send video clips and letters, and I'd read them and watch them just as many times as my mom. It's kind of hard to explain, but it just made it worse. It just did. So I can't explain. But every Friday, my mom and I would watch the news, and we would see this week's dead in Iraq and Afghanistan. And my mom thinks that I don't know, that she would go into the bathroom and cry. And me, I just sat there at the TV and I watched the faces of the men who looked just like my dad. I wonder if you understand what it's like to have your hero fighting in a war that he's not even really sure he believes in. Ridiculous. Yeah. But you know what he told me the night before he was deployed? He said, "Maddie, I do my duty. I serve my country." Dang it. I hate when I start to cry when I'm typing. I always think I'm going to fry the frickin' computer. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, it was the night before school, and I was feeling miserable. And so I had this bowl of cookie dough ice cream, and I was watching some old movie, you know? One of those movies that they make to try to make you feel good about going to school, you know, to inspire the kids, maybe to inspire the teachers. And that's when this story takes an absolutely crazy turn. The movie was called To Sir With Love. And it was about this black teacher who was struggling with these students in London. And the kids in his class, they start off as a disaster. I mean, they are poor, they're rude, they hate their lives, they hate their teachers. Everybody except for this one black guy. And slowly, he changes them from loners and losers to kids who care about themselves and each other. And they begin to appreciate him and what he's done for them. And I don't know, he kind of reminded me of Barack Obama. I know, I'm kind of a romantic, but so there I was, eating this bowl of ice cream, and it's all melted, and I got balls of tissues all over the place, and this girl is singing, and I got a big smile on my face. And the kids, they wanted to thank this teacher for all he had done for them. You know? How he had changed their life. And I kept saying to myself, how come I don't have a To Sir With Love? Huh? Okay, so, fast forward a couple of days. Mickey and I were blown away by the first day of Mr. B's English class. And we texted each other that we would meet at the Metaphor Cafe. It's this old place that's been there forever. It's a little coffee shop. Now, Mickey is not my boyfriend or anything. I mean, he could be. It's just, there's so much drama, I don't even want to go there. So, anyway, Mickey and I were chilling with our other friends, Ria and Pari. And we told our parents that we were going there as a study group. But we just wanted to get coffee and mocha and talk about our class. So, during Thanksgiving break, we figured that we would get you all caught up on what's happened in our class so far. Mr. B's English class, I need to explain something. See, it's more like, it's not really a class, it's an experience. It's like, I don't know, we're on a raft on a river, and we're floating down the river with Huckleberry Finn, and with Bruce Springsteen, waist deep in the big muddy. And we're drifting from love to war to racism. But the current always leads all four of us back to this corner table in the Metaphor Cafe. One last thing. I wondered if we could really capture the experience of Mr. B's class and the world that he introduced us to. Could we tell people the truth about our hopes and our dreams and our fears and all the things that when you're in high school seem like they're impossible? And just when I was starting to have serious doubts, I was in the car. It's like a Springsteen song. And I'm driving home, and my mom's got an oldies station on, and I heard it. It was the song. I knew it sounded familiar. It was the theme song to Sir With Love on the Glee soundtrack. And I sat there in the driveway, and I was just getting goosebumps. And I knew that we had to write this. And I know it won't be easy, but we'll try. And we started to write this. We're not going to call it a journal, it's a book. And we started to write this for Mr. B and Miss Anderson, but then we realized something. We were writing this for ourselves, because that's what writers do. That's what he taught us. And so he is our To Sir With Love. And it all just happened in the last 3 months.